Hi villagers, welcome to another video. I just wanted to make a quick video concerning being your own advocate. As nurses, we are taught to be advocates for our patients. However, you need to learn how to be your own advocate of your own body, your own person, your own health. And you need to learn how to speak up for yourself and fight for yourself. So I may have mentioned recently, I'm driving, guys. I may have recently mentioned that I was having an issue with Walgreens because Walgreens is who takes my insurance. So I had to have everything transferred over from the hospital's pharmacy over to Walgreens pharmacy. Now, mind you, I don't think I've ever had a problem with Walgreens in the past. In fact, I preferred Walgreens in the past before my insurance changed and I had to go to CVS, and then it changed, and then I couldn't get medications because nobody ever had them. So I had to leave CVS and go to Publix, and then Publix wasn't having it. So then I just said, you know what, leave it at the hospital. I mean, come on, it's a hospital. They gotta have medication, right? So anyway, back to my story. So after I got out of the hospital, I was, as I told you guys in the past, I had a 5-day stay, and it wasn't like a staycation or anything like that. I was in hypertension crisis. So once they figured out what was going on and how to get me on a regimen, they put me on some medications, and I got out of the hospital that Friday night around 8 o'clock. I was too exhausted to go anywhere and do anything, let alone try and figure out what pharmacy might be open. So I decided to wait till Saturday morning to get up and go to the Walgreens. So I went to Walgreens, and I went and requested that they call the pharmacy and get all my scripts transferred over to the location that I'm headed to now. This is the location off of Tree Line and Colonial, in front of the Winn-Dixie. I won't be going there after today ever again. So I get to the pharmacy Saturday, and I'm asking the pharmacist to request my scripts from the pharmacist at the hospital, and he's telling me that it's my job to tell the pharmacist from the hospital to have the medicine sent over, the scripts sent over to him. Now, mind you, I had already spoken to the pharmacist in the hospital Friday night, and they told me to have the scripts called in and they would fax it. They would have to speak to the pharmacist of Walgreens. So then he proceeds to tell me that he was the only one there and he didn't have time to take the information that I was giving him, meaning the names of the medicines that I needed him to request. And so as he's saying this to me, I see a head below waistline moseying through. And I'm like, did this dude just really lie to me? And then the head goes back the other way. I mean, clearly you can see his hair walking by, but like squatting, walking. So then at this point, he starts to take the information, but he's very, very rude and very dismissive. So I say to him, I just want to make a valid point to you as a customer, as a nurse. You are very dismissive and you have very poor bedside manner. You need to work on that. And next thing you know, he motions to someone, and a young lady, possibly the head that I saw walking, comes walking in. So she goes and she throws away all the stuff that he starts to write on a piece of paper, gibberish on God knows what type of paper he was writing it on, and she gets the correct paper that it needs to be written on. And she's got 2 different notebooks, like 2 different pads where she's going to write my information on, and she's taking down the names of the medicine, and she's putting it on the pads, and then she tells me it's going to take 5 to 7 days before I can get my scripts because they're that behind and they don't have enough staff. So that being said, I'm like, you know what? I'm so exhausted. I haven't slept. These people took blood every so many hours at the hospital. They came to take my vitals every so many hours. They brought me different medications at different times, so many hours. I had to go get x-rays, CTs, MRIs. I was poked and prodded and flipped and whatever that entire 5 days. So by the time I got out, I was exhausted. So I didn't have any energy to fight at this point. I just went home. I was upset because 5 to 7 days, I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to put it in God's hands because God didn't bring me this far for my blood pressure to get normalized and then have to go through a whole crisis all over again because the pharmacy doesn't have my medicine. So I went back a couple days later to see if my scripts were ready because I had decided at this point I'm just going to take my scripts to not take my scripts, but just go to another Walgreens and have my scripts picked up. And there was another young man that was the pharmacy tech at the window, and he proceeds to put all my medications in the bag, and I'm asking him what medications is he putting in the bag. Key point: don't ever allow any pharmacy to give you your medications without telling you what medications they are giving you. He was saying it off so fast that I actually thought he was saying hydralazine, not hydroxyzine. And I mean, it didn't help that he was speaking through a speaker. So I said, did you say hydroxyzine? And so he said, yeah. I said, how many tabs did I get of that? And he said 270. Immediately I knew something was wrong because my doctor and I had spoken, and we specifically said for her to give me 270 tabs of the hydralazine because I take it 3 times a day, and that's a blood pressure medicine. Well, he was agitated that I was questioning, and I asked him what was the medicine, because I was asking him what the medicine was for, and so I just paid and took the bag, and then I started to look through the bag myself, and I wanted to look at the script on the bottle so that I could know for sure that I was not hearing what I was hearing. And I proceeded to, at this point, you ain't gonna push me out the drive-thru. What you gonna do? You gonna answer my questions. So the mistake I made was taking the medications. So at this point, I am stuck with a $50 bottle of medications of the hydroxyzine because they won't take it back because I've touched it, number 1, number 2, COVID. And I proceed to tell them that, you know, that this is your mistake. My doctor never called this script in. And so pharmacist won't come to the window. Pharmacy tech has an attitude. So I said, okay, fine, whatever. I'm still exhausted from the whole hospital stay. I go home. I chill for a day. Then I go on Facebook and I go to Walgreens page and I write down my whole emotion, the facts, subjective and objective, of what happened with this medication. Not even a few hours later, I get a phone call back from the pharmacist, and he wants to know, did I take any of that medication, and if I did, stop immediately. They gave me the wrong medication. So I say this because I want you to be advocates of your own health, because I could have, if I was a layman and didn't know anything about medicine, and even if I was a layman and did know something about medicine or whatever, I could have been taking this medication 3 times a day at 50 milligrams. And who knows what could have happened? Who knows if I was even allergic to this medication? And I'm sitting up here taking this medication 3 times a day. This is what happens to our elderly. This is what happens to the ones that possibly can't read. We got to be advocates for our loved ones and ourselves. And now he wants me to bring the medication back in. He'll give me a credit of the $50 on my account. They found the correct script of the hydralazine. I can come in and he'll give it to me for free. No, buddy, you ain't giving me nothing for free. That so-called credit that you're going to put on my account is what's going to pay for that hydralazine. So at this point, I'm like, U-turn, yield to right turn. So at this point, I'm like, okay. He said, I said, what do you want then? What's going on? And he's like, bring the bottle back in and, we'll do exchange and blah, blah, blah. So now I've been having problems with the Lipitor, which is the cholesterol, because like I said, my cholesterol is in the 300s, not good at all. So I'm on Lipitor 80 milligrams, and it's been causing me to have muscle fatigue. And I'm really struggling with the muscle fatigue business. And the other thing I was dealing with is excruciating back muscle pain. And so when I was supposed to go and meet him for like the 2 days I was supposed to bring the stuff in, my back was hurting so bad I couldn't even get behind the car and drive. I couldn't even walk. So I called and left a message and said that I would come in today on my way to work and drop the medication off. Well, I just got a phone call from this pharmacist wanting to know, first of all, he never got my message, but he wants to know, why didn't I bring this medication in and this, that, and the other? And if you guys don't believe me, I don't mind if you guys see my name, because if you want to be Facebook friends, you can be Facebook friends. But let's see, how do I get you guys to see this? I don't know, it's not wanting to pick it up. Well, that's as clear as it's gonna go. But I'll do another video on, I actually still have the packaging that it came in. Bust this U-turn. So he calls me up and he's like, I've been waiting on you and you haven't been coming, and I left a message for if you came, all you had to do was drop medication off and I said, well, I never got that message, and I spoke to someone in your location about my back hurting and not being able to come in until Friday, when they told me that was the next day you would be here. So now homeboy want to make his urgency my urgency. Partner, your urgency is not my urgency. No, that is not how it works. I am the customer, and I gave you guys every opportunity to correct this situation when it originally took place. So yeah, you're not gonna rush me. This is not gonna be a rush situation here. So now I have just pulled up to the pharmacy, and I'm gonna let you guys kind of listen to what's going on. I wish you guys could really see this pill. Yeah, it's not gonna pick up, so we'll try and do the paper. So I'm here to see the pharmacist. I'm here to see the pharmacist. Olga. Olga. Okay. Olga. Olga. Oh, she can. 92270. 92270.
So the one I'm seeing here is a hydrazine, okay?
Right.
I'm going to refund you today $61.22.
Okay.
Because you have paid $1.60 for a partial, and then you have paid $59.62 for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to refund you what you paid, and then I'm not going to charge you for the one you're picking up.
Okay.
Okay?
And how many pills am I getting on that one?
You're getting the remainder, which is $255. Because you picked up, it looks like a partial on the hydrazine.
Okay, and this is what's the directions on this one?
To be just like your bottle you picked up earlier, 3 times a day. So altogether you would have got 270 tablets.
Okay, so what was the problem with the pharmacist listening to me when I said it was the wrong medicine?
Okay, so there's 2 different things the way it comes across. When it takes to buy something and say this is not what I wanted, that's one way. When this is not the correct drug, meaning it was not the correct drug to begin with, that's a whole different story.
That's what I told the...
When it came across the first time, it came across as you didn't want this.
No, that's not what I said. Let me tell you what I said. There was a young man that was here, and I said that I take a blood pressure pill 3 times a day at 50 milligram. Hydroxyzine was not a medicine that the doctor and I had ever discussed. I just got out of the hospital, being in there for 5 days, so I know what medications that I was supposed to give. I was speaking to the pharmacy about what medicine, the pharmacist about what meds he needed to call the pharmacy at the hospital to have transferred. Whoever it was really irritated. So the young girl right there, came over and she took care of everything for me. So trust me, I would never deny the medications because they finally got me on a regimen because I was in hypertension crisis. Okay. So I told the young man hydroxyzine was the medicine that my doctor and I never discussed. So I knew it was the wrong med. At that point, he told me because I touched it, he could not take it back, and because of COVID.
Because he understood that it was something that you didn't want versus it was the incorrect message to begin with.
If I tell you,
That's what he understood.
if
That's not what you were trying to tell him, but that was his understanding, was like, this is not something that you want. He didn't see it as, this is the wrong medication, it was a mistake.
well, then you need to retrain. And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But I just want you guys to be a little bit more careful because you got old people that can't read. Okay. Okay. Well, and you and I are both advocates. But that one mistake can kill someone. Fabian, that one mistake can kill someone. I know. I'm a nurse. I get pushed to the brim every day.
When I give people time, I don't give you time because I want to be a mean person. If I say, hey, take this long, just because that's how much time I need to do this safely as possible. So that's what we ask for time.
Okay.
That's why we give it some time, but people don't really understand that. They think it's embarrassing. You walk in here and say, hey, man, I want to make it in 5 minutes. It's too
No.
hard for that.
The pharmacist told me it was going to take 5 to 7 days. Even she told me.
Yes, ma'am, because why do we transfer?
No, I'm not arguing that. The pharmacist told me 5 to 7 days. I wasn't tripping about that. She told me 5 to 7 days. I wasn't tripping about that. I didn't give you guys a hard time. The attitude the pharmacist had, I didn't care for because it wasn't appropriate bedside manner or customer service manner. Now, all I'm saying is I understand where you're coming from. As a nurse, I deal with patients that push me to the brim and their family.
The reason I tell you that because I've had nurses come to work for me.
Uh-huh.
After 2 months, I can't do this, and they quit. So a lot of times we think of the same stuff. I don't compare my job to anybody else because until you're physically back here with us,
Uh-huh.
you see what we go through.
I'm not comparing my job to you. I'm not comparing my job to you. I'm just saying I understand about being pushed to the brim, okay? I'm just saying that one mistake, that one mistake can kill
I
someone.
know. That's why I say a prayer. Because that's the only protection I got. When
Okay.
you got so many people coming at you every single day, and 6 to 800 people are choosing your location for whatever reason it is, they all choose to come here. I can't say like a doctor, hey, I'm at my capacity, no more patients till tomorrow. I wish I could do that, but I can't. And everybody comes in, we gotta try to help every single person that comes in. Even though we're way above capacity right now. We're beyond capacity. But we're trying to help everybody. But you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying is like, it's not great. So that one mistake happens and somebody gets hurt. And then at that point, you have what we call double victim. Victim, the person who got hurt, and victim, the person who did it, because the person that never did it. They never did. So you have
Okay.
a situation.
Okay.
How serious it is. That's what we try, but yeah. Once I saw everything that happened, once they gave me the information, I looked at everything, I researched it, I realized this was wrong to begin with in the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's why I did my investigation. But yeah, I'm sorry about that because they thought it was more like, I don't want this, I bought it, I'm trying to return it versus the whole time when it first came in. From when I saw the prescription, it was tapped in on. The prescription came in correct, it was transferred.
Right.
But the person who tapped it up tapped in the wrong name.
Okay.
And then the pharmacy who checked it checked it under the wrong name.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that.
Anytime I do an investigation, I have to figure out the resources and then have a conversation with those team members.
Okay.
Make sure they understand exactly what happened.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that.
But, I mean, the only good thing is that you didn't take it and there was no harm done. That's the only thing that I'm thankful for, that you didn't have any harm done.
Okay. Thanks.